Hey singers, it's Laura, and this is the weekly warm-up where I share clear, fun voice education to help you enjoy your singing even more. Now, I've been on YouTube for a few years, but I can't believe that I haven't ever made a video about today's tip because it is one of the most simple and fundamental things that you can do to make a major improvement in your singing. And that is to put your tongue against your teeth. Now wait, if you've heard this advice before, don't click away because I want to talk about exactly how to do it and help you practice so that you can be sure you're doing it all the time. Okay, so when we are talking about putting the tongue on the teeth, there are three specific elements that we should be looking for. Number one, we're talking about the tip of the tongue, just the very most front part. And that should be touching against the back of the bottom teeth. So if these are your bottom teeth, we're really touching the tongue against the enamel on the back of the teeth. So like that, not with the tongue over the teeth or on the lip. That can be super helpful in practice, but when we're talking about keeping the tongue on the teeth, this is something that you should be doing all the time when you're singing. When you're in rehearsal, when you're in practice, it is something that you can do in front of people, unlike which is a great way to practice to release your tongue, but isn't really particularly acceptable in public. Now, the third element is where I want to be really, really specific. When I say keep the tongue against the teeth on all vowels, number one, that means not on consonants. So for a lot of consonants, you have to move the tongue out of that position. So things like L has to move the tongue upward. So you can't just keep the tongue glued to the teeth all the time, or the singing will sound like this. You'll have no consonants. So we're going to have to move it away from that position, which is what makes it hard to always return it to the back of the teeth when you get to the vowel. When you're speaking a word or singing a word, you have to move to the consonant position and then move right back. I often call the back of the teeth the parking place for your tongue. That's kind of where you want to store it as like a default position. Now, there is one tiny exception, maybe, for this rule, and that is that on the oo vowel, it is possible that the tip of your tongue may prefer to slide down to the back of the bottom gums, or even a little lower, kind of into that well. The key, though, is that it should still be in full contact. So if we're saying, the tongue is here for E, A, A, O, and then oo, especially in the lower range, maybe sliding down, but still touching. And that idea of touching is so essential. I can't tell you how many times I've had a student, a really accomplished singer, sing, and I'll say, is your tongue against your teeth? And they'll say, oh, yeah, definitely. And then we check, and it's just a millimeter away. But the difference between almost touching and actually touching is enormous. Moving the tongue forward in the mouth helps to keep it out of the back of the mouth so we're not getting that retraction, which both creates tension in the tongue and also makes less space in the back of the pharynx. So we don't really want to be retracting the tongue, and keeping it forward in that fully touching position is a great way to avoid that. So how can you practice? Well, I like to use the following exercise, and this is one where we're going to constantly move the tongue away from the parking spot position and then right back into it. So we're going to say lee la lee la lee la lee. Say that for me and observe what your tongue does. Lee la lee la lee la lee. So for the L, the tip of the tongue will come up and touch behind the top teeth. Now, some of you may try to actually put the tongue here so that it's on the bottom edge of the top teeth. I prefer to put it right against sort of the margin of where the gum and the tooth meet in the back. So if these are my top teeth, here, L, and I'm gonna just flip it down, L, and then E, L, Ah. So that's what we're gonna do today, lee la, and do that, and you're just gonna check touch top, touch bottom, touch top, touch bottom. Every time you're saying L, it will touch against the top of the back teeth. When you're on E or Ah, it will be down touching the back of the bottom teeth. Now, when you say li and la, the tongue will come to two different angles. On E, The tip of the tongue will be against the back of the bottom teeth as we're focusing on, but the sides will come up at a pretty steep angle to touch the top molars. E. Can you see how the sides of my tongue are coming up? For ah, the tongue may still be angled, but it will not contact those top molars. Ah. So try this with me. Touch, 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 touch. And we're going to go lee, la, lee, la, lee. Great. Let's sing it on a scale. Lee, la, lee, la, lee. Try that with me. Here we go. Lee, la, lee, la, lee. And here. Lee, la, lee, la, lee. Lee, la, lee, la, lee. One more. Lee, la, lee, la, lee. Now, this is a great exercise to sort of get your brain in gear in terms of looking for that contact between the tongue and the back of the bottom teeth. But I don't want you to stop doing that when this exercise is finished. As you go to sing, whatever you're singing today, whatever you're practicing in all of your other exercises, on your vowels, look for that contact between the back of the bottom teeth and the tip of the tongue. I promise it will make a huge difference. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that this was helpful for you. If it was, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you can come back next Thursday and every Thursday. And if you'd like a little more encouragement and advice right in your email inbox, do sign up for the newsletter. It's totally free. It comes out every Friday morning, and there's a link to sign up down in the description box. Till then, thank you for practicing.